right. My name is Lisa Bovey-Kemper. My pronouns are she, her. I am the interim minister of this congregation, and I am delighted to welcome you here on this Easter Sunday. In this community challenged by our liberating faith, we discover deeper spiritual meaning, nurture loving community, cultivate courageous connections, and partner in the work of justice. Welcome to each and every one of you, whether you are here in person or on the live stream. We are glad you are here. Thank you, Terry, for waving back. That was very inclusive. Terry is in the audio booth, so. I encourage you to reach out to our Director of Member Relations, Kelly Green, if you have questions about the community or would like to find out ways to get connected. Her email and face are on the screen. We have large print orders of service, personal hearing assistance devices, and an elevator available. There's also a hearing loop in our alternate worship space, the Bernstein Room, which is also a great space if you are looking for a slightly lower sensory experience this morning. We do have the organ and brass and the full choir, so it's going to get a little loud. So if you do need a little bit of a calmer, quieter spot, the Bernstein Room is available for you, and also anybody who just wants to be there. We have coloring pages and fidgets for all ages in the vestibule, if it's useful to you or your children. I have a couple of announcements. We are currently recruiting for teams for the fiscal year, the next church year that starts July 1. Please reach out to Kelly Green if you would like to be considered for a particular team. I'm also excited to tell you that Reverend Fred Small, who is the UU minister who wrote Everything Possible, which is a song you may remember from our hymnal. It is about being who you are. The song is 40 years old now, and it has been made into a picture book. So Reverend Fred and I will be co-leading the worship service on Sunday morning a week from today, and in the afternoon, the Gender Education Network and UUCC are collaborating on an event for children in the community to come and meet Fred, hear the song, sing along a little bit, and get autographs and books if you would like. So that's at 3:30 Sunday afternoon. Fred will also be staying after the service next week, after the service that day, to sign books and greet folks as well. It is a great opportunity if you have friends, if your kids have friends who are looking for LGBTQ plus friendly and inclusive space. This event in the afternoon would be a great thing to bring a friend to. We are asking for RSVPs just so that we know how many people are coming. There is a link in Currents, so I'm really excited about that and hope you will join me and us and everyone. And Dave Warren from the search team has an announcement. I'd like to invite him forward at this time.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Dave Warren. My pronouns are he, him. Your UUCC Settled Minister Search team is very excited to announce that our search is successful. After 9 months of hard work and with your help, we have found a minister who is an excellent candidate to be our next settled minister. We made an offer on Thursday, and the candidate gave us an enthusiastic yes. We now look forward to announcing the name soon. It's been a long process, and no one wants to tell you more about the candidate than we do. However, we're still finalizing the contract and doing our due diligence. Under the agreement that we made at the start of the search, we also have to wait for the candidate to announce it to their congregation. All that should happen in the next week or two. Most importantly, we're scheduling several opportunities for you to meet the minister during candidating week, April 28th through May 5th. On that final Sunday on May 5th, we will ask members to affirm our decision by issuing the official call, with a 90% favorable vote to those casting ballots in person, online, or by absentee ballot. Now, we can tell you our candidate has served a large UU congregation with heart-centered preaching and pastoral care, and with an extraordinary ability to inspire and empower congregants, and a demonstrated commitment to social justice. For the big reveal, please plan on being here for the next few Sundays. Watch your email, our website, and social media for details. And thank you very much for all the support you've given the search team.
It's awesome news. And well played, Dave, on the asking people to be here the next couple of Sundays. I'll give you your, your, I don't know, whatever I slipped under the table for you to say that after the service. Following the service today, we have lots of Easter fun for all. There will be 2 egg hunts, one for youngers and one for olders. I think is that children or is that like?
Anybody who wants.
Okay. So body or spirit, age, youngers and olders, and a bunch of Easter-themed games. We hope that you will all stay to observe and participate. Again, this morning, a warm welcome to each and every one of you, whether you are here in person or joining via live stream. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, origins, identities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. It is good to be together. And now I invite you to take a deep breath and settle in as our service begins. Bring your broken heart here, your tender heart, your fearful heart. Bring your brave heart here, your curious heart, your furious heart. Bring your questioning heart here, your tentative heart, your anxious heart. Bring your joyful heart here, your grateful heart, your bursting heart. Bring your amazing heart here. And bring your amazing self too. We need you, just as you are. We need you just where you are. We are here for where you've been, and we are here for where you hope to be heading. We are glad you and your gorgeous heart are here today. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening song, number 270, O Day of Light and Gladness.
We live inside paradox. Humans generally don't like to admit it. We much prefer tidy, stable, comprehensible, logical ways of getting through the day. But paradox is woven into the fabric of this particular universe we inhabit. Light is both a particle and a wave. Imaginary numbers describe the math of physical phenomena. Love and grief are inextricably linked, as are rage and sorrow, suffering and compassion, life and death. Time itself is both linear and cyclical. Each person's life traces a single arc, yet patterns emerge and reemerge. Fear always seems to return. Goodness knows terror finds its way back into the news. We always seem in need of help to roll back big stones that block our way. Yet we always come back to the Alleluia, even if its absence has gone on far longer than the 40 days of Lent. We raise each other's spirits when our sacred places seem empty. We anoint each other. We engage in a demanding faith that asks us to love the next world into being today. We are joyful, though we have considered all the facts. We practice resurrection. It is Easter again, my friends, and you are surrounded by a multitude who wish you well.
You may be seated. I'm very grateful this morning to the members of our junior youth group who have agreed to help us with the service this morning. They will be doing readings and things, and I'm delighted to have you with us. This morning we travel oh so briefly through the days of Holy Week that our Christian siblings and those of us who are Christian travel each year. Throughout this service, we will journey from the gates of the city on Palm Sunday to the cross on Good Friday to the empty tomb on Easter Sunday. In these readings, this triptych of readings, the author has imagined something about the experience of Jesus' followers through this time of hope, despair, and wonder. As Unitarian Universalists, we approach stories like these not in pursuit of fact, doctrine, or dogma, but of wisdom about the human condition and the nature of the holy.
I invite you to enter into this ancient story with a searching spirit. The title of this first section of the Holy Week triptych, At the Gate, refers to the gates of Jerusalem. It is told that on Palm Sunday, Jesus entered the city riding a donkey, to the cheers of the people who greeted him as a king. This day of celebration marks the beginning of Holy Week, which takes observers through the story of Jesus' last days: Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and finally Easter. He came in on a donkey, but we greeted him as a king.
The crowd was huge that day, as though all of Jerusalem's poor, tired, downtrodden had flooded into the streets.
Had risen up from the streets where we lay, had risen up waving palms, had put down our only coat to shield him from the mud.
We had heard about him, you see, his miracles of healing, his acts of love.
We heard how he had touched the lepers, eaten with the poor, turned over the tables in the temple.
We knew he had come to preach peace and justice. We thought he had come to save us.
Can you imagine a hope like that? You are desperate, you are starving, you are praying for relief, and here he comes.
Here he comes, and he is everything. He is loving and kind, he is righteous and angry, he is humble and powerful.
And he cares about us, the outcast, the prisoner, the lowest of the low.
Can you imagine a hope like that?
Good morning. Happy Easter. I'm Paula Gribble. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. So Easter can mean many things to many people. The story of Jesus, the pagan celebration of Ostara, the Greek story of spring, Persephone, and Hades. And children and youth who were here last week, you got to hear some about these stories last Sunday, and so you're a little bit ahead. But I want to talk today about how the Christian story can be meaningful to Unitarian Universalists. Well, at least part of the story. To start with, I wonder if any of you know who this is. Who is that? Yes, this is Patrick Starr, and he lives under a rock. Now, some people believe if you live under a rock, you don't know much of what's going on outside. I mean, it's dark under there, and you don't get much light. There aren't any windows, and you can't even see out, really. Now, Patrick, he was perfectly happy to live this way, not understanding a lot, making guesses about what's actually going on. It may be true that some people actually choose to live this way most of the time. In fact, it seems like some people have been living this way more and more recently. But that's another story. So, let's get back to the rock. Oh, wait, not that rock. Sorry, no, the rock, this rock. Even if you don't live under a rock, you might feel sometimes like hiding under one. There are times when everything is dark and heavy, where things might be a little scary. Or you might even feel like you're living the same day over and over. Anyone else ever feel like that? Yeah, I know I do. The thing about hiding under a rock or in a cave is that sometimes it's just what we need to do. We need to hide somewhere and keep other things out, or we need to get away from all the noise and the busyness of the world, or we just need some peace and quiet. There are lots of reasons you might want to hide under a rock, and even nature is like this sometimes. The winter comes and things get dark and cold, or like when a bear hibernates. The winter doesn't last forever, and the bear doesn't stay asleep in the cave forever. Eventually, the light returns, the warmth comes again, and life is reborn in the spring. But I bet it can be hard sometimes to remember that dark times don't last forever. In the Christian tradition, Easter is a day to celebrate when Jesus rose and lived again. And whether or not this story is all meant for you, it's a great message. One like just what I've been sharing, a story where things were heavy and sad and dark, but then there was a great awakening, and once again the light returned. Yes, it can be exactly what we need to hide under a rock for a while. And sometimes we don't know how long that has to be. But after that, we have to come out of the cave and see what new things are waiting for us. You never know what things will look like when the day is reborn. And when it's time, all we have to do is roll away the sun, the stone, and step into the light. I hope you will all rise. No, not a song, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, there's a song. Sorry. Please join with me in the song Now the Green Blade Riseth, if my mouth will work well enough to say it. You may rise, audience here.
No, this cannot be. The man who came in like a king, our hero, trudging forward like a common thief.
Spat upon, insulted, betrayed. He carried our hopes, our dreams, our need, and now he carries a cross.
Bruised, bloodied, weak, how could he be beaten? How could he fail us?
How could we fail him, standing by helpless, or urging them on?
No, it cannot be. We are not to blame. We are too powerless, too small.
We watched them mock our hope with a crown of thorns, and then they brought out the nails.
That is when I turned away. I couldn't watch, but I could hear. Father, forgive them, he said as he died.
That was what broke me. Father, forgive them, with his last breath. Father, forgive us.
And now he is gone. The hands that healed us, the ears that heard us, the heart that beat for us.
He is gone. He gave us hope. He gave us purpose. He loved us, and he is gone.
I invite you to join me in a spirit of contemplation or prayer, to be present to all that is around us, the breath, the life, the hope, the community. I will begin this morning by lighting a candle of memory and hope for longtime member Zeke Ford, who died last week. There will be a memorial service. It is not quite confirmed, but I think sometime in June that you will be invited to. I light this candle in honor of Zeke's life. Today, we are thinking of the people of Baltimore, Maryland, and the surrounding areas who experienced a tragic accident which destroyed an important bridge over the Patapsco River and killed several people. On this Transgender Day of Visibility, we hold in our hearts transgender people in our community, our state, our nation, and our world who are facing increasing hostility and deserve supportive care and access to medical treatment, housing, educational opportunities, and more. And we send our love to our Jewish neighbors who celebrated Purim, actually, our Jewish siblings. Many of you are in this room who celebrated Purim this past week, our Hindu siblings who celebrated Holi this past week, our Muslim siblings who are in the middle of their holy month of Ramadan, and our Christian siblings culminating their celebration of Holy Week today with Easter as we are commemorating today. I also want to offer congratulations to Lincoln Baxter III and his wife Carlene Mayfield on the birth of their son Lincoln Baxter IV, and I can see Grandpa Lincoln Baxter II right there. We can give him congratulations too. I'd like to invite you into a moment of silence to honor all the joys and sorrows, the complexity, all of the things under the rock and outside of the rock. You may stay seated as we sing the response, "There is a Love." Weeping may last for a night, weeping may last for 1,000 nights, but joy comes in the morning.
That morning we went to our beloved teacher's tomb. We went to anoint his body. We carried oil and cloths.
We came to the tomb in sorrow, heads bowed low, but hope does not die so easily. It flickers inside, buried somewhere deep.
Hope grows, blossoms like a rose, even through stone, even in hearts frozen by grief.
When we arrived at the place where he lay, we dropped all that we carried, in wonder, in fear, to see the tomb laid open and our beloved gone.
Do not weep, said the dead. This morning we rejoice. Love lives, hope lives.
Jesus is not here, he said. Come and see. He is risen.
Our beloved is risen. Our hope is risen. Can it be?
Can it be? It's a very prayerful noise, sorry.
It's true that sometimes we don't want to be still. Sometimes we need more. Because sometimes talking in words aren't enough, and even singing about it isn't enough. Sometimes we might fancy moving or feeling about it. So that's what we're going to do now, a body and heart moment. I have some folks to help me with the body and heart moment today. I mentioned earlier that sometimes we hide under a rock and are afraid that the light comes again. So that's what we're going to do with your bodies. May you rise as you are willing and able. Let's imagine that we are full of sparks of light. Show me your sparks. Ooh, lots of, oh, look at the sparks of light. And we're going along with the light, making our sparks, but then something happens that dims our light. Maybe not so many sparks. And then they might even go down and go away. And when that happens, we might need to spend some time in the dark. So show me how you curl up in the dark like a bear hibernating, or tightly as possible in a little cave. But after we've spent some time in the dark to rest, we have to come back out. So let's all roll away our stones and come out again. Ooh, roll away that heavy stone out of the way. Now, we have rolled out our stones, we have come out again, and we are out and standing tall. And now we feel the warmth of the sun, like we're fully alive again. Show me by stretching your arms out, by reaching up high, and give me an audible sigh. Ah. Now we feel so good that we feel the energy growing in our bodies, and again, the light returns. Make your sparks. Beautiful lights we can create when we have had time to rest. Now take a deep breath, bring your hands to your heart, and know that the light will always come again.
Now is the time in our service where we invite you to give back to this community with your treasure. If you brought some, we collect an offering to support the work of this community. We are grateful to those who are here today and those who have been here before and those who will come again. This morning, we are using our little shiny stones to drop pebbles in water to represent our joys, our sorrows, milestones, concerns, whatever is on your heart. During the offertory, you may come forward and drop your stone in the water if you wish. The offering will now be received. in the way that things go around and come around and ebb and flow. This reading, Rolling Away the Stone, was written by Sarah York. It is in the back of our hymnal. Sarah York was my first UU minister, and so I'm delighted to read it to you this morning. In the tomb of the soul, we carry secrets, yearnings, pains, frustrations, loneliness, fears, regrets, worries. In the tomb of the soul, we take refuge from the world and its heaviness. In the tomb of the soul, we wrap ourselves in the security of darkness. Sometimes this is a comfort. Sometimes it is an escape. Sometimes it prepares us for experience. Sometimes it insulates us from life. Sometimes this tomb life gives us time to feel the pain of the world and reach out to heal others. Sometimes it numbs us and locks us up with our own concerns. In this season where light and darkness balance the day, we seek balance for ourselves. Grateful for the darkness that has nourished us, we push away the stone and invite the light to awaken us to the possibilities for new life in ourselves and in our world. That stone is kind of a big deal in this Easter story, huh? So how many of you have had an experience, been somewhere with another person, and then gone to tell the story when you got home or to someone else? And the two of you had different recollections, different memories of what happened. Anybody? A couple of you, yeah, right? So maybe you noticed something different than the other person did. Maybe you had different experiences of it in your heart. Maybe you just forgot something that they remembered. But when you're telling the story, you go back and forth and you say, well, and then this happened and that happened. Oh, no, this happened first, right? So this is kind of the same thing that happens in the stories, the Gospels, and the Bible. There are a couple of different versions of the story of rolling away the stone. In one of the versions, the stone rolls away by itself. And when they get to the tomb, the people coming to anoint Jesus' body as was done long ago, the people who loved a person who had died would come and they would care for the body and get it ready. In that version of the story, the tomb was empty, the stone was rolled, and nobody knew what happened. In another version of the story, they had to roll it themselves. In another version of the story, this random guy that nobody knew who he was pushed the stone away for them. And in all of the stories, they discover that the tomb is empty and they do not know what happened. Then someone comes around and says, hey, you know what? I saw Jesus again. And somebody says, no, that can't possibly be what happened. That's not true. That guy's name is Doubting Thomas. You may have heard of him. There are so many versions of this story, so many ways to interpret and wonder and question and ask, what is the miracle here? Because we know that Easter is a miracle story, a miracle when something magical that nobody can figure out what happened. But I am a person who looks more for the ordinary miracles than the magical miracles. Because who would have even known what had happened if those people that were there hadn't gone away from that place where the tomb was and told the story and said, we don't know exactly what happened. It was a little weird. Here's what I think it was. Here's what is meaningful to me about this. Oh, and by the way, let me tell you about my teacher Let me tell you about this person who died, who was so special to us, who was so important to us that we left our homes and our families and our fishing boats and everything that we knew to follow him and to help him spread the news of justice and compassion and helping our neighbors and being kind to one another and not letting the people who are in charge, not letting the government do mean and horrible things. Does that sound familiar to anyone? The miracle for me of Easter is that those people who were brokenhearted, their beloved teacher was killed in a terrible, terrible way. They couldn't help, they couldn't stop it, but they came to be together, to care for his body, to care for each other as they were sad about his death. And then they went and they told everybody around what he meant to them and what he had tried to teach them, which is the same thing that we teach and learn here today. He told them to be courageous. He told them to be together in community. He told them to reach out and help the people around them. He told them to say no and stop when people do mean and terrible things. He told them not to forget him and not to forget what he had told them. None of it would have mattered if they hadn't gone out afterwards and told the story. And whether we can find fact or supernatural things or amazement and wonder in various places in that story, today I invite you to the ordinary miracle of the people who came to the tomb, who wanted to remember their beloved teacher, and who decided that the message of hope and justice and equity and compassion and liberation for everyone, all the people, not just us, was so important that they needed to tell that to people. And that more than 2,000 years later, we are still telling that story. Because that message, among many others, is so deeply important to who we are. And so I invite you today to think about the people who have taught you, the people who have helped you, and who remind you to be compassionate and to work for justice, and the ways that this community lifts you up and remembers you even when you have to have a tomb moment, a moment under the rock, right? We can all be under a rock for a little while. Remember how this community holds you and remembers you and honors your story. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing our closing hymn, Jesus Christ is risen today. Oh, goodness. See, all the volunteers, the Easter festivity, the Easter bunnies, ears or not, can go and do your setup now. We will sing you out with joy and abandon. join in saying or extinguishing the chalice words which are on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth